Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the specimen paper given by the ICSE board for the class 10 board exams. So you can see this is the ICSE 2026 examination specimen question paper for chemistry science paper 2, and this paper is for total 80 marks, and the total duration will be for 2 hours. So here when the question paper is given, first 15 minutes you have to spend on reading the question paper thoroughly, and there will be two sections, section A and section B, where section is for 40 marks and it is compulsory. And from section B you can attempt any 4 questions and each question carries 10 marks. So 4 into 10, 40 marks. So total will be 80 marks paper. So let's start with question number 1, that is from section A. So question number 1 has MCQs. So as you can see here, question number 1, there is MCQ 1. Which of the following will dissociate in aqueous solution to give a positive ion other than hydronium ion and a negative ion other than hydroxyl ion? So it is asking which of the following compounds will give a positive ion, but it should not be hydronium ion, and it is a negative ion and which should not be hydroxyl ion. So the answer can be NaCl. So which on dissociation gives Na plus and Cl minus? So answer is C, NaCl. Next, come to second MCQ. A compound P is heated in a test tube with sodium hydroxide solution. A red litmus paper held at the mouth of the test tube turns blue. So that must be a gas. Here it is turning the red litmus to blue. So that must be a basic gas, which is nothing but ammonia. So the gas which is produced in this reaction is ammonia. Then which of the following could compound PB? So to prepare ammonia gas, usually we use ammonium salts. So answer is option D, ammonium sulfate. Next, third MCQ, assertion A. Aqueous solution of potassium chloride can conduct electricity. So potassium chloride in aqueous solution is a strong electrolyte. So assertion is correct. Coming to the reason, conduction of electricity is due to the presence of free ions. So of course this is also correct. So here talking about the electrolyte, the conduction of electricity or electric current is due to the presence of free ions. So both the statements are correct and the reason is the correct explanation for assertion A. So option C is the correct answer for this. Now coming to MCQ 4. Identify the ion that contain one lone pair of electrons. So which has one lone pair of electrons? So in this, hydronium ion is the one which has one lone pair of electron. So when you see the electron dot diagram for this hydronium ion, so it will be like this. So where it has 2 covalent bonds and this is coordinate covalent bond, and oxygen still has one lone pair of electrons. So this is hydronium ion. So option B is the correct. Next, MCQ 5. 4 reactions are shown below in the diagram. So first one, you are heating calcium carbonate, then the reaction between dilute hydrochloric acid and zinc, then this is burning of ethyl alcohol or ethanol, and the fourth one is reaction between sulfuric acid and magnesium carbonate. Now the question is, which reactions produce water? So in this reaction, That is first one, calcium carbonate does not have any hydrogen atoms, so heating calcium carbonate will not give water. Similarly, sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid with metal, it can produce hydrogen gas, not water. Now coming to ethanol, when you burn ethanol, that is ethyl alcohol, in presence of oxygen, it produces carbon dioxide and water. So ethanol can produce, burning of ethanol can produce water. At the same time, magnesium carbonate with sulfuric acid, magnesium carbonate plus sulfuric acid, it produces carbon dioxide, water and a salt called magnesium sulfate. So in these two reactions, that is option 3 and 4, will produce water as the product. So option C, 3 and 4 is the correct reaction. Next, when compound X reacts with the dilute sulfuric acid, it releases a gas that turns acidified potassium dichromate from orange to green color. So a gas which is turning this potassium dichromate from orange to green color is nothing but sulfur dioxide. So which of the following compounds can produce sulfur dioxide? So nitrate cannot produce sulfur dioxide, carbonate no, sodium chloride cannot produce sulfur dioxide, and last option sulfite will give you sulfur dioxide. So option D is correct. Next, MCQ 7. The volume occupied by 2 moles of gas at STP. So when you take any gas at STP, 1 mole of any gas at STP occupies 22.4 liters. So here we are taking 2 moles. For 2 moles, it will be 2 into 22.4 liters. That is 44.8 liters is the answer. Next, MCQ 8. Identify from the following metal oxide which can react with an acid as well as an alkali. So a metal oxide which is reacting with an acid as well as an alkali, that must be amphoteric. So amphoteric metals and oxides, examples we have like aluminum, zinc and lead. So these 3 metals and their oxides and their hydroxides are amphoteric. That means they can react with both acid and a base or alkali. So from the options you can see option D, aluminum oxide, is the correct answer. Next, MCQ 9. So this is from organic chemistry. The structures of 4 hydrocarbons are shown below. So how many isomers of butene are shown in the above structure? So butene will have a formula C4H8. So but corresponds to 4 carbon atoms, and in alkenes will have a general formula CnH2n. So when you take 4 carbons, the number of hydrogen must be 8. So just you need to find which formula or which of these structures will have this formula C4H8. So here it cannot be an ene because all single bonds. So here this is an ene and it has formula C4H8. So this is an isomer of butene, and even here this is also an isomer of butene, C4H8, and even here this is also an isomer of butene, C4H8. Right. So here the question is, how many isomers of butene are shown in the above structures? So how many are there? You can see here 1, 2, 3 are there, but actually this structure and this structure both are same. So actually here it is showing, these two structures will be showing only one compound, and this is a different compound. Okay, so there are two isomers of butene are shown in this diagram. Right, next. Which element among the following has the largest atomic radius? So as you see, aluminium, sulfur, magnesium, sodium, they all belong to the same period, that is period 3. So in the order, first comes sodium, then magnesium, after that aluminium, then sulfur. So in the period we know that atomic size or atomic radius across the period decreases. That means sodium must be having highest atomic size among these 4 elements, because from left to right in the period the atomic radius is going to decrease. So the largest atomic size must be with sodium. So answer D is correct. Now MCQ 11. For which pH change is there the maximum increase in acidity? Okay, so for which pH change is there the maximum increase in the acidity? So here the acidic nature so he is talking about increase in the acidity. Right. So lower the pH value, higher will be the acidic nature over here. Now if you see the first one, the pH is increased from 1 to 3. So as the pH increases, acidic character decreases. Even 2 to 6, acidic character decreases. Now 3 to 1, so here acidic character increases, but the pH difference is only 2. And here 6 to 2. Okay, so now here what happens? The acidic character will increase with the difference in pH 4. So maximum increase in acidity is with option D, from C to 2. Right. Next, MCQ 12. The equation below shows the reaction between element X and dilute sulfuric acid. So X is an element and sulfuric acid. Which particles are responsible for the conduction of electricity in dilute sulfuric acid and compound XSO4? So when any compound is conducting electricity, we call it as an electrolyte. And in the electrolyte, the conduction of electricity is due to the presence of free ions. And these free ions can be positive ions and negative ions. Okay, so in any electrolyte, both positive and negative ion must be there, so which are responsible for conduction of electricity. So here the option D is correct, both positive and negative ions. Next, MCQ 13. Methanol and ethanol belong to the same homologous series. What does this statement mean? So methanol and ethanol both are similar compounds, means with similar functional group. So they belong to the same homologous series and they have similar structure and similar properties. So let's see which statement is correct here. So what does this statement mean? Their molecules contain atoms only of carbon and hydrogen, so which is not correct, because alcohols contain oxygen also. Their molecules have same number of carbon atoms. No, methanol has only 1 carbon, ethanol has 2 carbon. So second one also not correct. Next, C. They have the same functional group. Yes, correct. They have the same functional group, that is OH alcoholic group. So option C is the correct. Next, 14th one, MCQ 14th. The ratio between the volumes occupied by 22 grams of carbon dioxide and 10 grams of hydrogen gas. And so the ratio between volumes occupied by 22 grams of carbon dioxide and 10 grams of hydrogen gas. So this is what we are going to find. So for this we need to find the number of moles. Let us say here I am taking carbon dioxide and here I am taking hydrogen gas. I am taking 22 grams of carbon dioxide and 10 grams of hydrogen. So to get the number of moles, I need to divide the mass of the carbon dioxide with its gram molecular weight, which is 44 grams. So number of moles of carbon dioxide is 1 by 2, that is 0.5. Similarly here, to find the number of moles of hydrogen, I need to divide this with the molecular mass of hydrogen. The molecular mass of hydrogen is 2. So I will get number of moles of hydrogen as 2. Now I need to find the ratio between these two. So I need to take 1 by 2 is to 2. Right? So the ratio becomes 1 is to 4. Sorry, here n equals to 5. So number of moles is 5. So this will be 1 by 2 is to 5 and this becomes 1 is to 10. Okay, example, MCQ 14, the ratio between the volumes occupied by 22 grams of carbon dioxide and 10 grams of hydrogen gas. So these are the gases given and the mass is 22 grams of carbon dioxide and 10 grams of hydrogen gas. Now to find the volumes occupied by them, we need to find the number of moles. So the number of moles can be calculated by dividing the mass with the molar mass of that substance. So for carbon dioxide, molar mass is 44 grams and for hydrogen the molar mass is 2 grams. So number of moles of carbon dioxide comes as 1 by 2 and for hydrogen it will be 5 moles. Now when you take the ratio between these two, 1 is to 2 by 5. So finally you will get a ratio like 1 is to 10. So the correct answer is option C, 1 is to 10. Next, MCQ 15. In the process of electrorefining of copper shown in the diagram, which of the following statements is correct? The anode is made of pure copper. So we are taking electrorefining of impure copper metal. So which of the statements is correct? We have to see. The anode is made up of pure copper. So which is not correct. So in electrorefining, anode is made up of impure copper. And the cathode is made of impure copper. So this is also not correct because the cathode is always a pure metal in electrorefining. Next, copper is deposited at the anode. No, copper metals will deposit at the cathode, not at anode. So obviously, fourth one will be the correct statement. Copper ions from the anode move towards cathode and get deposited as pure copper. So this is the correct answer. So this is about MCQs. Next, move to the next question. Question number 2. Electroplating steel objects with silver involves 3-step process. A coating of copper is applied to the object, that is step 1. And step 2, a coating of nickel is applied to the object. Next, step 3, the coating of silver applied to the object. So now come to the questions. A diagram of the apparatus used for step 1 is shown. So step 1, we are going to electroplate with copper. The chemical process taking place on the surface of the object is copper ions are getting neutralized. So copper ions take 2 electrons and forms copper atom. What is the observation seen on the surface of the object? So here you will get, on the object, the copper metal will be deposited. So you will get pinkish brown deposit over here. Okay, so you will get brown color deposit over here. Right? So what is the answer? You will get brownish pink deposit. Brownish pink deposit will be obtained on the cathode. Next, explain why the concentration of copper ions in the electrolyte remains constant throughout step 1. So as the copper ions are getting discharged at cathode, the new copper ions will be released from the anode. Right? So that's why the concentration of copper ions remains same, because anode is replacing the copper ions. Replacing the copper ions which are getting discharged at the cathode. So throughout the process, the copper ion concentration remains same. Next, question B. Give 2 changes which would be needed in order to coat nickel onto the object in step 2. So step 1 is shown here, to electroplate with copper. Now we need to make any 2 changes so that we can electroplate the object, same object, with with silver. Right, nickel itself. Right. So first of all, you have to change this anode with nickel metal, because you need to deposit nickel on the object. And second one, the electrolyte must be made of nickel sulfate. So these 2 changes are compulsory to have nickel coating on the object. So one, you need to change the anode to nickel, and the electrolyte must be nickel sulfate. Next, question C. Write down the reaction taking place at the positive electrode. Positive electrode means it is anode. So during step 3 is coating silver. So at anode, silver anode will be ionized to give silver ions, because in third step, when you electroplate with the silver metal, you will take anode made of silver. So in electroplating, the silver ions, the silver electrode which is taken as anode, that will undergo ionization to form silver ions. So this will be the reaction taking place at the anode when you electroplate the article with silver. Right. Next, question 2. Identify the following. The bond formed between 2 atoms by sharing of a pair of electrons, with both electrons being provided by the same atom. So it is nothing but coordinate covalent bond, or coordinate bond, because both electrons are coming from the same atom. A salt formed by the complete neutralization of an acid by a base. So salt obtained by complete neutralization will be a normal salt. It is the normal salt. And C, A reaction in which the hydrogen of an alkane is replaced by halogen. So it is nothing but halogenation. Halogen, because it is specified as it is replaced by halogen, so it is called halogenation, or in general it is called substitution reaction. Next, D. The energy required to remove an electron from neutral gaseous atom. Energy required to remove electron is always ionization potential. Ionization potential or ionization energy. So, answer is ionization potential. Next, fifth one. A homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or a non-metal in definite proportion in their molten state is nothing but it is an alloy. It is called an alloy. Next, now fill in the blanks. When dilute sulfuric acid reacts with zinc granules, the gas evolved. Sulfuric acid, any dilute acid with metal, definitely produce hydrogen gas. A solution of copper sulfate in sodium hydroxide solution forms. So you are taking copper. Copper ion will always form pale blue precipitate. So answer is pale blue precipitate. Next, in methane, each hydrogen atom shares one electron, because hydrogen has only one electron, so it can contribute only one electron. Next, the electron affinity of an element X is greater than that of Y. The oxidizing power of X is likely to be. So the electron affinity of X is greater, means it can easily accept electron. So since it can easily accept electron, the ability to oxidize other element, or the oxidizing power of X is likely to be more than that of Y, because X can take electrons more easily compared to 1, so oxidizing power will be more. Next, the naturally occurring compound of a metal from which the metal can be extracted is. So naturally occurring compound of a metal from which the metal can be extracted. So it is nothing but ore. Next, match the following. Aluminium. So aluminium is extracted from Hall-Herold's process. Then sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is prepared in contact process. Calcination. Calcination is used for carbonate ores. Calcium chloride. Calcium chloride is an electrovalent compound because it is a compound of metal and non-metal. Carbon tetrachloride, obviously it is a covalent compound, so it's easy. Next, give the IUPAC name of the following organic compounds. So in this you can see you have only a single chain with 3 carbons. So for 3 carbons you will write root word prop, and all carbons are connected to each other with single bonds. So N. Since we have a functional group, that is OH, you need to add OL. But where is this OH? The OH is on the first carbon. So whichever side you have the functional group, so that side we have to start numbering. So this will be first carbon. So 1 propanol. Next, example 2, structure 2. In this you have 5 carbons. For 5 carbons you will be writing pent, and you can see there is a double bond. So it becomes ene, and this double bond is between first and second carbon. So it becomes pent 1-ene, or you can write it as 1-pentene. 1-pentene. Now draw the structural diagrams for the following compounds. So first you need to see what is the root word there. It is but. So you need to take 4 carbons. And it is saying second carbon has ine, triple bond. So if you take this as the first, second, third, fourth, second and third will have a triple bond, remaining will be single bonds. And the remaining bonds of carbon must be filled with hydrogen. And always remember, each carbon must have only 4 bonds, not more than 4 and not less than 4. So this is the final structure of but2-ine. Then second one is 1,1,1 trichloromethane. So here the root word is meth, so you are taking only one carbon, and the one carbon must have 4 bonds. Out of these 4 bonds you have trichloride. Tri means 3 chlorines. Trichloro means 3 chlorines. So out of these 4 bonds, 3 bonds are filled with chlorine and the remaining will be just one hydrogen. So that is called 1,1,1 trichloromethane. Because all chlorines are on the first carbon, it is 1,1,1. Next, pentane-2-ol. So in this, the root word is pent, so you will take 5 carbons. I am putting single bonds because it is ane, all are single bonds, and 2-ol. Second carbon has alcoholic group, that is OH. So second carbon will be having this OH, and remaining bonds has to be filled with hydrogens. And don't forget to put hydrogens. If you miss hydrogens here, marks will not be awarded. So that is compulsory to write the hydrogens wherever it is required. So this will be the structure of this compound, that is pentane-2-ol. So this is about section 1.